All right, ladies and gentlemen, moms and dads, it is Andy, and we are recording. This is actually take two because the one we did live didn't record because Zoom changed how they did things and it got messed up and whatever. So here I am again. But the good news about it is that one that we did was 2 hours long because so many parents had so many questions. Um, and I know what the questions are. So I am going to truncate this baby and I am going to shoot for 45 minutes. Okay, so that's the goal. I will try to be succinct and I'm going to talk fast. So if you are the kind of person that watches your YouTubes on like 1.5 speed, you may not want to do that. So away we go. There's the share. All right, so here's my little PowerPoint and here's my little thing. So welcome new families, right? Totally appreciate you guys taking the plunge into Liberty Lake. I am very excited that your kids are going to have an amazing summer. So a little about myself. I'm Andy Pritikin. Started Liberty Lake back in 2002. But before I did that, I got married to my high school sweetheart, Jill, and she is my co-director, my co-everything. She sits behind me. Normally, if I was in the office, she'd literally be right there behind the water trampoline of the phony background. She was a CPA by trade and, had a couple babies. And then my son got a little cancer, which he is doing all right now, of course. And then came back and came into the business and has been doing a great job helping us out with operations, the behind the scenes. I am front facing, Andy, or as the kids like to call me, the Mickey Mouse of Liberty Lake in many ways. So anyway, I got two kids, right? I can tell you about them. But back in the day, when I was in high school, even, I was in rock bands. I was on the radio in my band when I was in high school. When I got to college, I got into this group and we were on Star Search and we were the biggest band in New York City for a while, but we never got that coveted record deal. So I got my master's in education. And I figured, that would be a good day job, being a band director in the schools. And then when my band broke up and I cut my dreadlocks off, I decided to go into camping full time. And that was about 30 years ago. Had my daughter around that time. She's 30. And Jess is really amazing. She goes by Jasanya. She is a yoga instructor, sound healing, the bowls. She plays these funky instruments. She goes to India. She opened up her own yoga studio in Brooklyn. But the big news with her that got her on the front cover of SJ magazine is that she was at a music festival because she went to college for music and business just like I did and wanted to run music festivals. She was at a music festival on a remote beach in Panama in 2020 when the world started ending and then ended up staying in Panama at an eco-sustainable village in the middle of the jungle where she met Boogie, Johannes Bugenhagen, her husband, who worked here the last few years at Liberty Lake. But now they live in New York City, and she is a yoga guru. He is a DJ and working in the nightlife scene, also, and helping actually facilitate things to happen at nightclubs. And this is what her studio looks like that just opened up in Bed-Stuy a couple of weeks ago. Super proud of her. So, yeah, I jumped into this camp thing. Next thing I know, I'm running the largest camp conference in the country. I become the president of the American Camp Association. I start a second camp up in Massachusetts, take over a third camp, sleepaway camp up in the Adirondacks with some friends. So I was the keynote speaker at the first ever camp conference in China. And I was on the Kathy Lee and Hoda show. I was as the camp director. Why you should send your kids to camp and all that kind of thing. You can look all this stuff on YouTube. And then in about 2008, 2009, I started the New Jersey Renaissance Fair, which has two more weekends. You should go. It's awesome. It's amazing. It got too big for Liberty Lake. So it's actually at the Burlington County Fairgrounds now. And it is really a scene. And it is great family fun. If you've never been to a Renaissance Fair, it's sort of like camp. You don't know how awesome it is until you go, until your kids do it, until you come, because it is just so much fun. So that's my little portfolio at the moment. I started the New Jersey camps government affairs project, which helps campaign for all camps in New Jersey. So we do a lot of work in Trenton. And then I even go to Washington, D.C. and represent camps. If you follow me on social media, you can see my travels near and far. There's a lot of things going on that we have to do to protect camps, especially in this wild political climate that we're in. And I started and host the Day Camp podcast, which is the second most popular podcast of the camp industry in the world. We're listened to in 60 countries. It's quite a thing. It's all about best practices. So I visit camps all the off season, and I bring all the best ideas to Liberty Lake, where we came up with the feeling that we are about community and character. Community, because a lot of these kids, they don't live in a real community that feels like a community, like communities used to be. They come to camp, and next thing you know, they know everybody's name, and there's this sense of pride, and they sing the camp song. And, as opposed to, I'll just speak for my kids that grew up in a really nice neighborhood of McMansions and hardly knew their neighbors because they never went outside. They were stuck in their hermetically sealed, air-conditioned houses. I'm talking about my neighbors in particular. And we lived on a cul-de-sac and kids didn't play outside. So Liberty Lake, they certainly do play outside because we're tech-free and we are all outdoors pretty much. We've got a couple of air-conditioned spots when we need it, but mostly the kids are out there, right? And character, we got into that big time about 10, 15 years ago. I was going to Washington, D.C. and listening to some best practices of like the exemplar schools, charter schools and stuff that are doing the most progressive things. And basically the best schools in the country are schools that are like camps. And because they really teach character, and they're jealous. These schools are jealous of what we get to do with kids at camp, because camp is just like the perfect playground and learning environment for character. More about that later. And it's our 25th year. Whoa! I started this camp in 2002. I cannot believe it's 25 years, except for the fact that we have kids at camp whose parents were kids at camp. So that's a little mind-blowing and amazing. And the best part of my job, I tell everybody, is watching kids grow up into amazing adults. Oh, it's unbelievable. We have 300 staff. Half of them are Liberty Lakers. Half of them are kids here. It's the best feeling you can imagine. Liberty Lake got a lot of notoriety in 2020 when we were the only camp in the greater Philadelphia area that opened. I figured, you know what? We're outdoors. I've been doing this a long time. I had been the president of the American Camp Association. Everybody was looking at me. I was on the news 37 times in 3 months getting interviewed. And I was like, we got to open, we got to open, we got to open, we got to open. And then 5 days after Memorial Day, they let us open. And we did it. And we had an amazing summer. And if you recall, 2020, kids weren't getting COVID. So it was actually easy as far as that goes. 2021 was actually a lot harder. So because of that, we sort of blew up. And we had tons of kids for about 3 or 4 years. Things have settled down a bit, and now the economy is a little wacky. So, we're back to where we were a little bit before COVID now, but we're still doing well. We signed up our 1,000th kid a few weeks ago, so that's pretty decent. We have about 600 kids a day at camp with 250 or so staff a day, 300 sometimes. This is what the leadership team looked like in 2020 with our face masks. That was our 20th anniversary, and now's our 25th. So we are committed to being the best on every level. And given my position and my role in the camp industry, I get to find the best. I get to meet the best. I get to go to camps and steal their great ideas and bring it to Liberty Lake. So just going quickly through this list, we have the best trainers that we could possibly have at Liberty Lake. And that's because I meet them all on my podcast. We have two professional bus companies. Many day camps, they would hire you, parents, to work at camp, and we would train you to drive a CDL bus. And you're not a bus driver. You're driving a bus in the pouring rain and things like that. When I started Liberty Lake, I decided, because I had done it that way at my prior camps that I ran, and I said, I am going to hire professionals for this job and take some pressure off of myself and my staff. And it's been great. So we have one bus company for Philly and one for the rest. Professional food service. So we have professional caterers. Liberty Lake, when I got to Liberty Lake in 2002, it had been a famous place for picnics and family reunions and corporate parties and charity events and stuff for 25, 35 years. And we came in and we started running the camp. And within 3 years, the camp got bigger than the picnic business. So I ended up purchasing it because the guy who had purchased it from the last guy saw himself in me and paid it forward and gave me a great opportunity to be able to buy in slowly until we really had the money to go to a bank and get that all done. So, yeah, so that was 25 years ago. And anyway, so food service caterers, right? Awesome food. We'll talk about that later. Professional photographers. So besides the fact that we have a media team of 3 or 4 people that are taking photos and videos and stuff of the kids all the time, and we're putting them up there in social media just a little bit, and we're putting them on in our online photo gallery for you guys to see whenever you want. And if you use the app, right, that's another technology thing here. We're cutting edge. We spend a lot of money on our database. We spend more money on our database than I don't even want to tell you what it is because it's so robust and great. And it has this app that provides facial recognition so that it'll, anytime, if you do it for your kids, if you take pictures of them and upload them to this thing, every time that they get put into a photo, you will get a push notification, which makes life a hell of a lot easier for you. So you don't have to, go through 1,000 photos a week looking for your kiddos. So state-of-the-art communication, that's what that is. Social workers, guidance counselors, behaviorists, right? We have so many people on staff to help get kids who are struggling through and over the hump. And I'm not even talking about our inclusion program, which is the best in the world, maybe. We'll talk about that. We have 3 nurses on staff, and we have nurse interns. Our head nurse, Vanessa, is actually one of the heads of nursing for Rutgers Camden out of Blackwood. And she gets students to come and put in hours at Liberty Lake. So a kid goes to the nurses area, the health center, as we call it, and they may not just encounter 3 nurses, but like 5 interns as well, who are like nursing students about to graduate. So we're really, really fortunate to have Vanessa and to have such a robust health center team. One of those nurses, Raina, spends the morning being the dietary specialist, where she helps make sure that the kids with dietary needs, that their needs are met. So we have celiac kids and peanut free, and we're peanut free anyway. But you know the deal: gluten free, dairy free, et cetera, et cetera. We got kosher kids, we got Hindu kids that are vegetarians. We have options for all these things. Okay, every single lunch. Okay, so when it's pizza day, it's also gluten-free pizza day and dairy-free pizza day with the pizza, right? So anyway, more on that later. Division leaders. So I have a middle management team that is unlike any other camp. So that's where I put a lot of my money, middle management, right? So I have great frontline, plenty of frontline, more frontline, best ratios that are out there. But then we have a middle management team that's super robust that functions as mini camp directors, and they are your concierge. They're the ones that get in touch with you through the summer. You could always reach out to me, but I am also not going to make stuff up. I am going to defer to them as to what's really going on in the group and in divisions and such. Largest inclusion program in the country. I told you, maybe North America, maybe the world, and the best new ideas in the camp industry. Like I said. One of my idols in the camp industry is this guy from Long Island, Doug Pierce. And he used to say, Andy, we do the case method, copy and steal everything. And that's sort of what I do here. I'm a synthesizer. I synthesize all the great ideas and I bring them to your kids. All right, a little bit about my son, because we're talking about great trainers. Actually, one of the best trainers in the camp industry right now is my 26-year-old son, Justin, which is unbelievable for me to even be saying, but it's true. He does workshops for camp directors, right? Because he's so good. So Justin's got an interesting story. I'm going to try to say it quick. When he was in 6th grade, he got diagnosed with leukemia. And for the next 7 years, he battled this cancer. He had chemo twice, 2 long rounds that ended up coming back. He had immunotherapy treatment, experimental at the time. Now it's standard, where the T cells fight the bad cells and all. And in what would have been his senior year of high school, he got a stem cell transplant, which ended up working. So anybody on this call that works at CHOP, you guys do amazing work. Thank you so much. He went off to Villanova, where he became manager of the basketball team for Jay Wright's last 4 years. And he did tons of great stuff there. He was the head tour giver. He ran a Special Olympics fundraiser. He was just a dynamo, because it was like he hadn't been to real school every single day in years since 6th grade. So it was a big deal. He gave a TED Talk. You can look it up, Justin Perdikin TED Talk. It's out there. It's all about his journey. And his senior year of college, he got a job selling yoga pants at Lululemon, just trying to get some extra money, get a discount on the clothes. And within 5 weeks, they told him he was the highest rated salesperson in the country. And in 5 months, they made him a regional vice president, not a regional, they made him a national vice president in their corporate office in Los Angeles. or he worked next to the head of operations of all of Lululemon and learned a ton and changed all their, because I told you he was a great staff trainer, changed their staff trainings. If you work at Lululemon right now, you do 60 hours with Justin, all right, online staff training. But after a year, he said, you know what? Not my thing. I didn't go to college for to be in the fashion industry. I was like, what do you want to do? He said, I want to be a camp director. I just don't want to work with you yet. I don't want to be Andy's son. So fortunately, I have that Camp Everwood up in Massachusetts that I'm partners with there. And he went up there and he took that camp from good to great in 3 summers. Unbelievable. So we are so fortunate that he has decided that he can work with me now. And he's been with us since September. And even though it's our 25th year and we're celebrating the last 24 years of awesomeness, we are now in year 1 of Justin. And it is a new era. And I am super excited. And it is a humbling experience for 59-year-old Andy, who is the head of the industry in many ways. And I got to listen to this punk kid who knows more than me. So yeah, director of staffing. He's also head of the senior division this year. And he's also in charge of the media team. This is Justin. On the left, that's him. That was staff training from Tuesday night. He was spectacular. And then these other pictures of him teaching other camp directors, right? So State of the Union, more so for the returning families, this page. But, economic uncertainty is amazing to me that you guys are sending your kids to camp, dealing with what we are now and how expensive everything is, including camp. And why is camp so expensive, you say? Because minimum wage in New Jersey is really high. We have 300, so I think we're going to end up with 335 employees, summer employees. Okay, adds up. All right, my summer payroll is over $1 million. In addition, everything else is expensive: gas, food, this, that, right? Plumbing, lumber, right? We built so many things this year with lumber. It's unbelievable. But the good news about the economy is because everything is so expensive, staffing is easy. And we had well over 500 applications for 90 new staff, which means, by the way, that we had about 200 returning staff. So we have a really good, strong team. Crocs were outlawed for the last 24 years, but we made them. You can wear Crocs now. The issue is that if your kid's playing sports, they need to bring sneakers. I am not going to let a kid play basketball or pickleball or high ropes or baseball or soccer in Crocs. Okay, so pack sneakers for those kids in their backpack. A backpack that we will give them at the meet and greet on June 16th or on their first day of camp. Color World will talk about. Wave will talk about smartwatches. So we were always anti-phones, anti-technology, anti-iPads, all those things, no technology. But we allowed smartwatches because we figured, well, just put them on AirPlay or whatever, and don't do it. And they did. We had kids calling their parents because when they got a little bored, they said, hey, come get me. Like Star Trek, right? We had kids messaging each other, right? I had staff, flipping through things. So we got to get rid of them. It's basically a smartphone on your wrist. So no mas. And for the kids who like counting their steps, they make pedometer watches and they're $16 on Amazon. So not Bluetooth, not Wi-Fi. That's the key, okay? Nothing that is Wi-Fi. Don't send your kid with anything that is Wi-Fi. We don't want people taking pictures in the changing room. There's just too much wacky stuff happening. In the last 2 years, we had kids or staff who had phones in their bags and it would sit on their bags and call 911 because you're pressing the sides of their phones. That happened 3 times in the last 2 years, and I don't ever want it to happen again. All right, so here's the schedule, right? Many of you came for tours, saw this. The camp is broken up into 6 divisions. And basically every 2 years is a division. So we start with the pre-K and K, goes all the way up to 9th and 10th graders, right? Every one of these divisions has division leaders. They are those concierge people that are going to be reaching out to you in the next few days. Email them back if you have any questions or concerns, and they're going to email you throughout the summer, okay? They are there for you, okay? The buses pull in at about 8:45, 9. We have a morning assembly, and then the day begins. And we have 8 periods in the day. Most periods are 45 minutes. Lunch is a half hour. Swims are an hour. Last period ends at 3:30. We have an afternoon assembly. Kids hop back in the big tin cans head out by 4 o'clock. We have before care that starts at 7. We have aftercare that starts at 6. It's pretty damn cheap. It's $5 a day. They get snacks. They get to go swimming in the afternoons if you're local and you need it, or you just want the kid to have extra camp. This is what the groups look like. I talked about the division leaders and stuff, assistant division leaders. We are really, really jam-packed with talent here. Instructional swim for every kid in every group up through entering 4th grade. So that's turtles, freshmen, and sophomores. These kids, well, just a little bit on instructional swim. It's really important. And for those of you who have visited us and you come down the driveway and you see independence, teamwork, integrity, all those kind of things. My joke is that if I had enough money for one more sign, I would say add swim, because swim is a life skill, especially when you live in New Jersey or Philly, especially when you go to people's pools and you go to the Delaware River and you go to the Atlantic Ocean and all that kind of thing. Kids need to swim. So can kids opt out of instructional swim? No. Don't come to this camp if you don't want your kid to learn how to swim and they're that age, okay? And free swim in the afternoons, everybody does, okay? And they get to choose between the lake and the pool, and they only swim where they can, meaning where if they pass a deep water test, they get a deep water band I'm putting out here because it goes on your wrist, then you get to swim in deep water. In regard to the assessments for instructional swim, I sent you all an email that has the dates of that. It is next Saturday, and then it is next Sunday, and then the Saturday before camp starts. I think it's yeah, it's the 13th and I don't know. You got to look it up. I'm sorry, I don't have it right in front of me. It's listed later in this thing, but you can come out and get your kid tested, and then we'll know what swim group they're in for swim lessons, and they can also take the deep water test, and they can be all ready to rock and roll on the first day. Otherwise, we do it on the first day, and we're used to that. We have small swim groups. We got a lot of swim instructors. We have a big team of 25 lifeguards, and they are a part of all that. All right. Let me explain how the process works on a swim period. So the kids come to camp, and they come to camp in shorts, t-shirt, sneakers, and socks, generally speaking, except for those Croc kids. And we're going to give you a backpack. In that backpack, a towel, sunscreen. You lather up your kid in the morning with sunscreen. We will help relather them after each swim. What else? Oh, a windbreaker in case there's a little liquid sunshine. Okay, that's a good thing to stuff in there. They really don't need anything else. Do not pack snacks, food, okay, because we're very allergy aware here. And do not pack electronics. Otherwise, you're breaking the law of Liberty Lake and you're risking your kid being evicted. So they go to the changing room before swim, and they do what I call the Clark Kent into Superman thing. They take off their shirt and their sneakers and socks, and their bathing suit's already on, because a boy's shorts are their bathing suit. That's how you send them to camp, in their bathing suit. Girls' bathing suit, that's their underwear. Okay, because we want to be able to go whoop whoop whoop, ready for swim. Okay, and on a day like today, it was a really sunny day today. They would get out of the pool or the lake and head back to the changing room, and they will be mostly dry by then. So they can put on their clothes and get ready, go back out and play. And then, if they're 4th grade or younger, they have a second swim in the afternoon anyway. Older kids can choose a second swim through the elective program. We'll talk about that a little bit later. Let's talk about aquatic safety. Super, super important to us. We've hired the best safety consultant in the country. She's actually, right now, she just got a new job. She's head of risk management for the entire YMCA, right, in the country. She's amazing. Our head of aquatics, Gary, is a Red Cross lifeguard trainer. It's his 15th year here, and he's a school teacher in Camden. He works at the Kroc Center during the year. He is all about aquatics. He gives sessions about aquatics to other camps. We have AED units at the pool and both sides of the lake. We do that swim assessment. So there it is, the 20th. Oh, that's wrong. So it's the 20th and the Sunday. Oh my God, that is wrong. It's Saturday the 20th. And it is Sunday, whatever a week from this Sunday is. I think that's the 14th. Yeah. So I think it's the 14th and the 20th. Typo. Sorry about that, guys. Optional. Okay. And there's an RSVP through that email link I sent you. life vests for non-swimmers, although we don't really want the kids wearing life vests unless they really have to, because we really want them to learn how to swim. We have two pools. One of them, they're both 80 feet long. The small one is 20 by 80, so it's narrow, starts at 1.5 feet, and by the end gets to 4 feet with ropes in it, cutting off where it gets deep. That 3 to 4 foot section is its own section. And then the big pool is 40 by 80, so it's wide, and it starts at 4 feet. I did not build that ridiculous pool. And it goes up to 7 feet where the pool slides and stuff are. New for 26. So I'm always looking for cutting edge, awesome stuff. And the last few years, they've been selling a product to camps, mostly sleepaway camps that have lakes, called the Wave System. And what the Wave System is that the kids wear these head things, little headband things, and you can see them in these photos. And you can look this up, saferswimming.com. And what happens is they're connected to Bluetooth to a little hub at the lifeguard stand. And if a kid goes underwater with this headset on for more than 10 seconds, it will buzz the lifeguard's wristbands, okay, notifying them that there's a kid under right now. And we're starting this year just at the low side of the lake, the shallow side of the lake, which starts, you can walk in, and then where the rope is, it's 4 feet. Okay. We feel that this is the most controlled area to try this out first. Okay. And I also think it's the most important area because we have a lot of kids that are not strong swimmers in this area. In the deep end of the lake, it's all strong swimmers. In the pool, the visibility is great. So I think this is the best place to start this. So if the kid is under for another 10 seconds, then that siren that's in the middle there goes off and alerts everybody to really get into that water, right? This, to me, there's a good chance that this could be the future of lifeguarding. And we are now at the cusp of it here. It is being used in a lot of cities, at boys' clubs and girls' clubs and places like that. And like I said, sleepaway camps with lake. We are the first private day camp in the United States to use this. But we are also the first private day camp in the United States to do a lot of things. We tend to be. I always am looking for the newest, safest, coolest thing for our camp families. And, my man Gary, the head of aquatics, is up for the challenge. We're going to get trained on this this Sunday at camp. All right, let's talk about electives. A little more fun. So you all got the week 1 elective sheet it was mailed 2 days ago. Some people are getting it right now. So the week 1 elective sheet, I did email it to you also, is for first graders and up, entering first graders and up. And you log in to your CampMinder, you go to forms and documents, and you choose the top 10 list, okay? And for each child you have, there's one for each child you have, and you choose the activities that they want to do in order of preference. So the number 1 choice is the one they absolutely positively have to have. And I'll tell you right now, if your kid wants to do the zip line, if they're 3rd grade and up and they could take high ropes adventure, make that the number 1 choice. That's the only way they're going to get it. All right. If your kid likes the cooking ones, make it their number 1 choice because these are super popular electives that so many kids have on their top 10 list. And we start with the kids that have number 1s for those things. So look at it that way. What else is on here that's interesting? Well, I mentioned that the older kids can take extra swim things. So in the waterfront column, if you look, it'll say swim lessons, swim team, polar bear club. Those are just for the older kids that don't have swim lessons. Peter Pan is on here. For kids that are here weeks 3 to 7, they can join the show and be in a full-blown musical. Next to the blurbs, it says, if it doesn't say anything, it's for all ages, unless it says freshmen, then it's just for the freshmen. So if you look at like drums, it doesn't say anything. Oh, because drums, does it say 3rd and up? It shouldn't. I think drums is for all ages. Well, anyway, dance. It doesn't say anything. Dance is for all ages, right? But if you look at LLTV, I think it's for just 5th and 6th graders, or maybe it's 3rd and up. I can't read, the font's too small and I'm looking at it. Learn to Ride is just for the younger kids. So you have to read this and see what it's for. But when you log in and you go to your kid's thing to choose, it's only listing what they're eligible for because of age. So I had somebody call me the other day and said, hey, how come my kid can't take Frosh Multisports? And I said, because your kid is a Frosh in high school, not a Frosh at Liberty Lake. They're not 6 or 7 years old. So anyway, that is the elective sheet. So they fill it out, put it in a top 10 list with you, okay? And parents of seniors, if you have middle school kids, don't just say, hey, you guys do it. Hey, you missed it. It's your fault. No, you got to do it with them. Because if you let them do it, they won't do it. And then they're going to end up with the same electives and they're not going to be happy that they didn't switch. So you have to hold their hand through this a little bit. All right, please. The frosh and sophomores get 3 periods of electives, and the juniors and seniors get 4 periods of electives. CITs get 2 periods of electives because they do leadership trainings. You do this about a week before the actual week takes place. So do it now, everybody. Okay, right now, do the week one ones. Doesn't matter when you start. I don't care if you start in August. And I know it says week one electives. You'll have time to update them when the week that you start comes out. I'll send it to you. You'll have a few days to update it. But I want everybody to put choices in there now, so that if you forget to do it, you'll have choices and we'll be able to give your kid a schedule. We don't want kids having no choices. Then they're just getting whatever's left. Which is not going to be their number one choice, I'll tell you that. So please, everybody, first grade and up, fill out your electives as soon as possible so we can get this going. On June 16th, we're going to be running it for week one. And then we're going to be running week 2 on the Tuesday morning of week 1. Okay, so you have until Tuesday morning, really make it Monday night, okay, of week 1. And you'll have the week 2 electives, a few days earlier, and you can peruse that. So the blurbs change from week to week. So if you look at dance, it says on Broadway. Next week in dance, it's going to be something different, right? Cooking, the taste buds elective, it says seasonal tastings. They're doing stuff about 4th of July. All right. The next week might be Chinese food week, might be Italian food, might be pizza week, right? We mix it up. So you have to read these little blurbs because it changes from week after week, which, by the way, makes it cool. Because if there's a kid that really likes a certain thing, they can take it week after week and do different things each week. The electives are 5 days long. So they started on Monday, they ended on Friday. So if they take an art thing, they work on their art project on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, take it home Friday, right? If they go to dance and they shake it up and they learn a dance routine all week, on Friday, they could theoretically perform it for the whole camp, right? 5-day cumulative electives. If I hired you to run one of these electives, you would have to give us 8 weeks of curriculum with each week being its own theme, okay? And teaching the star points, teaching the character values within it. Very important, right? So any questions about this? Tracy is our electives person. She's been doing it for over 10 years. Her email is electives@libertylakedaycamp.com. Spirit calendar. So you all got this in the mail also. And if you haven't gotten it, you should be getting it soon. If you didn't get it, email us because it probably got stuck in the mail and we'll send you another one. But also all this stuff is online, right? Pretty much everything we sent you is online except our first day of camp badges. Spirit calendar. Company line is every day is a holiday at Liberty Lake. So it can be as simple as it's, we get dressed up today. It's whatever day. Or it can be as crazy as it's Jello tug of war, right? And speaking of dressing up, every one of these days has a little, well, not every one of these days. Many of these days have little yellow stars in the corner, and those are dress up days. So Star Wars is a dress up day. So you could dress your kid up like a Wookiee. No, don't dress them up like a Wookiee. It's too hot. All right. But they can be a Jedi for darn sure. Superhero day, second day of camp. Okay. I will probably be Batman or Captain America, and I will love it. I'll be living my inner child dream for sure. A lot of times people don't really know what these things mean, which is understandable, okay? But it's sort of like sleepaway camp. I've taken the sleepaway camp model of evening activities for any of you who went to sleepaway camp, where you know what, the kids don't really know what it is. Oh, it's superhero night. Could be anything, right? So they have to be sort of open and ready to have fun. And we get them really jazzed up and excited, and that's the goal, right? I couldn't tell you what Minions Day is. I really couldn't. But it's going to be fun. We do a thing called Color War. It's not on the calendar. Okay, it's a surprise. Something happens, we do this break, and we say, it's Color War. And the last bunch of years, we had 5 teams. But this year, because it's our 25th anniversary, we're going to 2 teams, the way we used to do it. So it's going to be red and blue. These are old school pictures of when it was red and blue. And in the confirmation sheet that you got, it actually has their Color War team listed, so they'll know. All right. And yeah, it's a whole lot of fun. And so they do competitions over 3 days, and the competitions are built into their activities. So if you're fishing and you catch a fish and you're on the blue team gets points. Okay. If you're at basketball, we'll separate the kids and play little games between red and blue, and they'll get points that way. But the big points come down to the sing, because these kids every single day, first, they do it for 3 days. Every morning and every afternoon for those 3 days, they get together with their team and they practice songs and cheers. And then on the last day and the last afternoon, we have the sing off. And those are worth the big money. The teams that win Color War are the teams that can galvanize together, that have good songs and sing their hearts out, right? And if you go onto our quick links page, there's a section of the Color War songs. I have the generals record the songs so that you guys can practice them at home. One of them, the Generals did a great parody song of the easy whatever it's called, the Chapel Roan song, and it has like 30,000 views. I mean, maybe more. Like, people freaking love it because it's hilarious. They did a great job, the counselors, and they won because of that song. Liberty. It was great. Food. So, as I said, Liberty Lake was a picnic place before it was a summer camp. So we have kept the tradition of awesome food going. We have barbecue every Friday, pizza every Monday. We mix it up during the week. And we're in Jersey, baby. So we do pork roll, egg, and cheese. Okay. And the most popular lunch, which we do 3 times in the summer, is by far chicken and waffles. Some kids like chicken, some kids like waffles, some kids like chicken and waffles. It is sticky, it is messy. It ain't my thing necessarily, but it's actually pretty good. Um, every day, the kids can also choose from a pasta bar. We got buttered pasta. It's actually olive oil, or, pasta with red sauce. Sandwiches, ham, turkey, tuna, sun butter, and jelly. We're peanut free. We have yogurts. We have an amazing salad bar like you're at a restaurant, and every day is a different protein. So some days it's grilled chicken, some days it's hard-boiled eggs, tuna salad, et cetera, et cetera. I said yogurts, right? Kids that come early for before care, we have bagels for them. There's apples all day. They can grab apples. There's a bag of pretzels each group will get at some point during the day. And then every afternoon, ice pops or ice cream, right? So a little bit like a cruise ship. Your kids are pampered here, yes, as they're sweating it out. In an outdoor camp in 98-degree weather in the summer, we feed them well, at least. So, what else? So what happens is you have this menu. This came in the mail to you too. And you put this up on your fridge and you say, hey guys, look, it's chicken quesadillas day. And your kid says, what's a quesadilla? And then you explain a quesadilla. And then you say, but you don't have to have that, because the kid's like, that doesn't sound, I don't really want like a grilled cheese with chicken in it. Okay. So you can get, a sandwich and all those kinds of things. So when they get to camp, their counselor takes attendance and takes their lunch order first thing in the morning. Okay. Hey, who wants chicken quesadillas? Okay. So there's 8 chicken quesadillas, 2 turkey sandwiches, 2 tuna sandwiches. This kid's just going to have pasta, et cetera, et cetera. And they put this all on a big order sheet. By the way, they know this kid's gluten free. This kid's dairy free. This kid's vegetarian. They got all that stuff too. It gets handed in to the kitchen first thing in the morning. And by lunchtime, they show up. They say, hey, I'm here from Harvard. They're all college names. They say, here you go, Harvard. Here's your 8 chicken quesadillas and your 2 turkey sandwiches and your 2 tuna sandwiches and that whatever. And they bring it to the table for them. So they don't have to wait in line or anything like that. There's their food. The kids want to get seconds, 3rd grade and up, they can go up and get seconds. All right. Younger than that, the counselors will help. Turtles, preschoolers, we actually serve family style. So they'll cut up a whole bunch of chicken quesadillas. They'll have a bunch of sandwiches. They'll have a bunch of pasta. They'll have a bunch of salad. And the kids are just grabbing with their hands and they're just eating, right? Because that's all. We just want them to eat. Right. And we're not expecting them to remember what they ordered, little, preschoolers like that. But it's an awesome menu. It's professional food service. The food is good. Right. Some kids, it's like their favorite food. Right. And then some kids complain because you know what? Kids complain about food too. They just do. So don't take them seriously. The food's actually really good. Free choice. It's like free play. It's really important. I went to the Partnership for 21st Century Learning Summit in Washington, D.C., and listened to all these experts talk about creativity. And, I'm a musician. I'm an artist. To me, being creative is writing a song, drawing a picture, right? They're like, no, 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 no. Being creative is knowing what to do when you don't know what to do in life, in circumstances, right? And in a world where a lot of parents do everything for their kids. And then they go to school and the teacher's telling them what to do. And then after school, they go to piano lessons and somebody's telling them what to do, or karate lessons, they're telling them what to do. And they go to the baseball practice and someone's telling them what to do. A grown up, right? These kids, many of them don't get the opportunity to just go outside and play, figure it out, like my mom used to say to me, right? We give them 45 minutes a day, free choice, free play. We give them lots of different options. And yeah, it works. Many of them, they really, really love that unstructured time. But many of them, they get a little stressed out because they're not used to it. They're so used to somebody telling them exactly what to do. It takes time. All right. But it's important. Really important skill. You want to send your kid off to college or wherever they're going to go after they're out of your house. You want them being able to figure crap out, right? You want them getting their first job. And then when they're going to be in situations where they have to figure things out, they're not going to be able to call you, right? So that's what free choice is about, folks. I told you about our team, right? It's big. There's lots of people, right? It's more like 300. But we have a lot, when I say 250, it's about 250 staff without the inclusion advocates. We have some weeks we'll have close to 50 additional staff helping support kids, our bookend weeks when it's not extended school year going on. Um, 3 nurses I told you about, social media team, right? The media team. And then I told you about the Friday assembly where the kids perform for each other. It's really cool. And we shoot videos and stuff like that. No, you can't come and watch your kids sing. I know you want to, but there's so many kids. I couldn't have that many parents. It would be incorrigible. And it's Friday afternoon, which is already nuts with dismissal when people picking up their kids early. So no, sorry. Success program. So as I said, we have this great inclusion program. It could be up close to 200 kids out of the over 1,000 kids that we have that have some kind of, additional need, as we call it. And, we come up with a success plan and the parents agree to it. And that's a yellow card that goes to the staff that has no diagnosis on it or anything. It just explains, Johnny doesn't like loud noises. Johnny prefers eye contact. Put your hand on Johnny's shoulder when you're talking to them. Johnny hates the birthday song. We had a kid that hated the birthday song. Like these are it's like cliff notes on these kids, right? Some kids need a visual schedule. We give it to them, right? They go to art. They get a fatter paintbrush, right? It's just super helpful. And what we do here, no other camp does to this degree. I have had camp directors of special needs camps come on my podcast, and they don't even do anything close to this. They don't do the intake process that we have, even close. We are super thorough. We start with turtles, preschoolers, right? They're cute. The counselors all want to be in the turtles. We actually have way more counselors that want to be in turtles than we can put in the turtles because there's only 3 groups this year. And then teen leadership program is perhaps the best thing we have in our camp in regards to pushing kids out of their comfort zone and challenging them and really teaching them character. It is wonderful. And the mentors that work in that program, that's what we call them, teen mentors. They sit down with each kid every single week and they go through their glow and grows. Where are they glowing? Where do they need to be growing? Right? It's really quite nice. Safety and security. So I hire my man, Big Mike, security company. He is at the end of the driveway every day from, I guess, 8 to 5. And then we have other people from like at 7 in the morning and from 5 to 6. It's a real security company. And people do come in and out, but they don't get past that front gate, not with Mike there. And if you come in, you need to tell us you're coming. If you're going to come up, pick your kid up, because your kid is not going to be ready otherwise, right? So we have a lot of new families and they'll just be like, oh, I was in the area, so I stopped by. I figure I'll pick him up so he doesn't have to take the bus home to Philly. Well, that's great. He's on a boat in the middle of the lake right now. So you're going to have to wait about a half hour until he gets back. And that's just what's going to happen. We also have a blackout period between 3 and 4 o'clock. You cannot pick up your child between 3 or 4 o'clock. If you call us and say, we got to pick up our kid at 3:30, we're going to be at 3 o'clock. You're picking up at 3 o'clock. Because between 3 and 4, we're doing dismissal. And we want our lists to be 100% accurate. We do not want to be looking for a kid that's no longer at camp, because then we'll never find them, and that'll be terrifying. We want to make sure that everything is buckled up. So 3 to 4 o'clock, blackout time. All right. If you show up at 3:45, you'll wait until after 4. Right. You show up, come at 3. Okay. And what we also do is that we don't want to take our best staff and be extracting kids from the middle of things all over the place. So we prefer you come when there's breaks in the schedule. So the last period actually starts 2:45. That would be great. Because if you come at 3, your kid's gonna be up there for 15 minutes because we're not gonna let them go out in the boat in the middle of the lake, right? We're gonna say, come up to the gatehouse and wait up there. Okay, so you can ask about that when you call. Back to safety and security, we have a full-time director named Rob Swantek, who is a certified emergency specialist. He worked at hospitals, a couple of local hospitals, and at Princeton University, where he helped manage security and emergency stuff. So it's really wonderful having him on staff. He's cool, calm, collected, and very, very diligent and type A about these things. We have an alert system that blasts different sounds so we can get kids to assemble or disassemble. We're a uniform camp, so all the staff wears Liberty Lake shirts, except for dress up days, and then they have a name tag. So, and any visitors that come in get a name tag slapped on them, a visitor tag, and are escorted around. And we don't have that many visitors. I told you about the CampMinder database system that I pay all this money for. One of the things it does is email or text you in seconds. So I can send a mass text or mass email out to you lickety split. And I will send them out to you in a day. And sometimes they're not like for emergencies, but it might just be like, hey, want you to know an ambulance came. And a lot of the kids were like, what's the ambulance for? So I want to tell you, all right, that one of the kids slipped and fell and it hurt his leg. And we had to get the ambulance taken to the hospital. And we think he's going to be okay. But I just wanted to tell you what happened, right? A tree fell, that kind of stuff. Like, I want to break the news to you. I tell our staff to break the news to you so you don't hear the 300% version from your child. Yeah. And then the companion app, like I said, amazing. We can do a lot of stuff with that app too, but I can't guarantee that you're going to download it. So I'm not sending anything important through that. Anything unbelievably time sensitive, I'm going to text you. And I don't use text for like sign up for next year. All right. No marketing. This is like, the bus number 12 is stuck on 295 and is a half hour late right now. Right. That's where you get a text message, that kind of thing. I was talking a little bit about the 21st century skills, right? About us being the ultimate environment for teaching your kids leadership and character, right? And respect and initiative and self-direction and teamwork, collaboration. I'm so about this. And I so push this on my staff and they embrace it, right? When I first brought this to the Liberty Lake staff, I was like, because I had been a teacher and I had been in some teachers' rooms with some cranky teachers who were always complaining. And I was like, man, I'm gonna tell them all about this and they're gonna be like, oh God, Andy's forcing this hokey stuff on us. And man, I was 100% wrong. They were all like, this is why we became teachers, because we want to teach kids how to be better people. But we don't have time in school. We're too busy teaching for the damn test. So they embraced it, and we now have created this culture. Um, we talk about the start points all the time. We have Tuesdays dedicated for Tuesday talks, we call it, and we really make it a big deal, and we debrief with the after the. Well, we'll get into debriefing. There's a slide on that. We do lots of little things. We're intentional about this. We don't just say it. We don't just put the signs on the driveway. We don't put it just on the t-shirts. We actually do little things throughout the day, whether it's cheers and the little fuzzies they get on their shoulders and everything. We try to take every opportunity we can. I was talking about debriefing. We want to connect the dots for these kids. So when a kid does something nice, we don't just go, high five, that was really nice. We say, hey, sweetie, the way that you were honest about the fact that you did this thing that you shouldn't have done, right? That showed amazing integrity, right? And we celebrate it. We celebrate these little moments of character with the other campers and make a big deal about it. We even want you to do this, okay? We want you to ask your kids, hey, what was hard today? What was a hard thing that you had to do today, right? And talk to them about what they did about it, not just that a kid was mean, right? What'd you do? Did you say anything to that kid? Right? We're all partners here. We all want your kids to grow up and be amazing human beings. Debriefing is really great. I suggest you take a picture of the screen. All right. Especially the last one. It says not an interrogation. Right? Hey, what'd you do today? What do you mean? Nothing. No, be inquisitive. Ask questions. Ask specific questions. Right? What'd you do that was awesome today? What do you want to do tomorrow? Right? Get them to start talking that way. If you just say, what'd you do in camp today? 90% of the kids are going to say nothing. I guarantee they ain't doing nothing here. Um, Kids that come to Liberty Lake, they are resilient and they build character that way too. This is an actual picture of a Liberty Lake child. Okay. We get dirty at this camp. We get muddy. We get paint on us. Okay. And we don't care. We have a good time. Um, yeah. Our job as caregivers is not to just protect our child from discomfort, but it's to walk them through it. Right. And there's a great book called Too Much of a Good Thing. There's Blessings of a Skin Knee, Coddling of the American Mind, The Anxious Generation. Man, there are some great books out there that talk about why this is so important. And guess what, guys? You signed your kids up to camp. Yeah, you did it. You get it. Okay. Your kid's not sitting home like your neighbor's kid watching video games all summer. God bless you. So this is like one of my little Bibles, The Anxious Generation. It's amazing. And you're already sending your kid to a camp with no phones. So you get it too. Um, I got to spend time with the author, Jonathan Haidt, and I told him about what we do at Liberty Lake, and he was thrilled. He thought it was amazing. And he said to me, he said, Andy, do you tell your parents that they come to camp and the kids take risks and that's a good thing? And I was like, no, I don't think I ever said anything like that. He said, you got to say that to them because one of the biggest factors of kids being awesome adults is taking risks in childhood and knowing that it's a risk, but doing it anyway. Because so many kids play it safe and so many parents coddle their kids that they don't take any risks. And then they become risk averse. And then they don't want to try anything new. And yeah, not the greatest thing, right? So at camp, we're always pushing your kids out of their comfort zone. Um, and yeah, some of it is a little risky, right? You got to climb to the top of the rock wall. That's not easy. That is scary. Okay. Sometimes we swim across the lake, right? And things like that. With lifeguards and all those kinds of things. It's safe risks. The risks we take are safe, but they're still risks and they're out of their comfort zone. And being out of the comfort zone is a good thing. It's how you grow. If your child is over 10 or older, buy this book. Um, Buy it on tape, even listen to it. But the book is really good because it gets a little in depth, a lot of research and stuff. So it's good to sort of be able to pause. Otherwise, you'll be pausing the tape a bunch and writing things down. But this guy's genius. I got to hang out with him once at a conference too, actually twice. He's a friend of one of my best friends. Um, it's just what motivates people in this day and age. It's very interesting. It's probably not what you think. First week of camp. First week of camp at Liberty Lake, your kid is going to be exhausted. By the way, I am going to be too, because I'm not used to it. It's like when you go to the beach that first day. If let's say you're renting a beach house, and that first day you're just like, oh my gosh, I'm going to take a shower and go to sleep at 7 o'clock. Yeah, that's what the kid's going to feel like at camp too. Because unless your kid is like some kind of special kid that goes to some special school where they play outside all day, kids are just not used to it. By the way, there is a school like that up in I think it's in Pennington, right? We have a few campers that go to the school. It's outdoors all the time, even in the middle of winter, right? The kids go to school in their ski outfits. It's unbelievable. But anyway, um, your kid is going to be exhausted. They're going to be emotionally sad because when you're exhausted, that wears down your emotions. So you get cranky, right? And I joke around, but I'm not joking. I say your kid's going to come off that bus, which they'll probably fall asleep in the bus or the car going home because it'll be air conditioned in the bus also. And you're going to wake them up. You're going to be like, come on. And you're going to hose them down. You're going to throw some food in their mouth and they're going to go to sleep. It's going to be late outside. And that is fine. Okay. I would say that 9 out of 10 times when there's a kid that has behavior problems at camp, that's not some kind of kid with behavioral issues. It's because they stayed up too late. Have your kids go to sleep early. It's important. Getting a good night's sleep is super important, especially during camp. They need to recoup their brains and their muscles, right? And we have kids that love camp so much. The parents tell me, my kid woke me up at 6 in the morning. He's standing in front of me with his backpack on. I'm like, what time's the bus come? Okay. But there are also lots of kids that are like, I don't want to go to camp. I'm so tired. Okay. Doesn't mean that camp is bad. It means your kid's tired, right? Excuse me, allergies. So, yeah, it's really important to get a good night's sleep. All right, and push them through. Okay, because if once they're here for like 3 days, they'll get some sea legs under them. They'll get used to the pattern. They'll be fine. Okay. Um, yeah, that's just what it is. I've done this for 30 years. Trust me. Preparing for camp. Anxiety is about to peak for the parents, not the kids. The kids could care less. Okay. Kids might be a little nervous. That's normal. If they weren't, that would be weird. But you cannot transfer your anxiety onto your kids. Okay. Oh my God, I'm so nervous about it. How do you feel? No, off limits, right? Make every effort not to transfer your inevitable stress and fears onto your children. Everything should be positive. You're going to have a blast. It's going to be so great. We're going to meet the best kids. You're going to have the counselors. Yeah, da, 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 right? You are their head cheerleader for the next 2 weeks, okay? Or the next how many weeks till they start. No negativity, all right? Be realistic with them, right? It's not going to be easy. It's going to be hot, right? It's going to be weird, awkward, not knowing people. But guess what? So is the first day of middle school. So is the first day of high school. So is the first day of college. So is the first day of your new job, right? So is when you go to a party with with a lot of people you don't know. This is life we are teaching them. Okay. And guess what? We have done the research at the American Camp Association. We know that kids that go to camp are more well adjusted in college, in careers, than kids that don't because they're getting this, right? I went to sleepaway camp for 2 years. I went to a town rec program, then I went to sleepaway camp for 2 years. And I am telling you that my camp experience got me through my freshman year of college, right? Whereas one of the guys in my dorm, who was a friend of mine, this kid was sleeping until 10 o'clock every day. He slept through his finals, right? Why? Because his mom did everything for him his entire life. He told me it was this little Italian kid from Brooklyn, right? Claude, great guy, right? But yeah, I was like, I went to sleepaway camp. I had to make my bed. I had to do chores. I had to do this kind of thing, right? Getting your butt in gear and getting on the bus every day and coming to Liberty Lake and all that kind of stuff. That teaches leadership. That teaches discipline. That teaches resilience. That teaches character. Teaches leadership. Um, no news is good news. This is not the kind of place where your kid is going to come home with a little note that says he ate half of his lunch and part of his brownie and he took a bowel movement. Like, no, we're not in that business. We're not a daycare center. Okay. We're a day camp and we got a lot of kids here and we will call you when there are challenges. We will send you little emails when great things happen, but no news is good news. Okay. If you have questions, email your division leader. They'll be happy to give you a response, let you know what's going on. Okay. Um, Clothing. Don't send your kids in good clothes. You saw that picture of that little boy. They're going to get muddy. They're going to get dirty. They're going to rip things. Okay. What I tell parents is go to Target or Walmart and buy the cheap crap, including sneakers. Don't send to Air Jordans and start labeling everything. If you go into the Camp Minder dashboard, there's a section for labels and there's a good label company. It's called Mabel's Labels or something. And you can stick them right on your stuff. All right. Because if you write on the tag of your kid's towel, Alex, what are you doing to me? We got 1,000 kids. You know how many Alexes we have? All right. 600 a day, by the way, not 1,000 a day. But we got a lot of Alexes. All right. Labels with like the real name or at least the first initial or something. You got to give us something. Okay. Because what happens is we pick up the lost and found every single day. And we bring it to a central location, right? And we have a couple of staff that get paid extra and they go through it and they sort it. And if your kid's name is in it, we get it back to them. And if it's not, it goes into a big pile and there's a good chance it'll end up at Goodwill at the end of the summer or in the animal, what is it? The kennel, the county kennel, right? And the dogs will be using it. So put their names on the kids' stuff, okay? Because guess what? They're kids. They're absent-minded. They're going to lose things. All right. We are going to work with them so that they don't lose things, but they will lose things. It's not if, it's when. All right. So write their names on it, right? And we will try to break them like wild horses. All right. And listen, every single year there's kids where the parent calls on the first week of camp and says, okay, it's Friday of the first week, and my kid has lost 3 bathing suits and 2 shirts and 1 towel, and he left a sneaker the other day. What is happening, right? There are situations like that with some kids, right? That is an extreme example. But we will do our best. I promise you. Okay. The counselors, they're young too. Okay. They're not used to picking up after kids. So we're trying to teach kids, take your socks, put it in your sneaker, take your stuff, put it in your cubby, right? We try. But when there's 16 little rugrats running around together, sometimes it gets a little tough. So the less that you send, the less they will lose. Okay. That's my mantra. Rules, discipline, inappropriate behavior is not tolerated by campers nor staff. When somebody steps out of line, it's obvious and we deal with it immediately. We teach character, we teach integrity. If kids cannot control themselves, they cannot be at my camp. Okay? I am a small business owner. I pay a mortgage. I cannot have one child infringing on the experience negatively of many others. Okay? That's bad business. And I will do something about it. Okay? But before I kick kids out of camp, remember, we have a behavioral support team. They will try. We will call you and we'll say, hey, Mrs. Wiedemeyer, can you do me a favor? This is what's happening. Because a lot of times the kids think what happens at camp stays at camp. And we like to call you and say, hey, can you help us with this? And the parents go, oh my gosh, I 100% will. Okay, I'm sorry that happened. Okay, yes, occasionally I get the parent that's like, my kid would never do that. Oh my gosh, what are you doing at this camp? Because my kid would never do that. Oh, my kid told me it's everybody else's fault. Well, parents, guess what? We're not lying to you. Okay. We're telling you what we see, not what we heard, what we see. Okay. So be on the same team with us and we will succeed with this. Okay. And again, sometimes we have to tame wild horses. We get kids that come in from private schools that are in these little tiny classrooms. They're not used to being in a group of 15 kids or in a division of 200 kids or in a setting of a camp of 600 kids. Okay. It's overwhelming for them. All right. They're not used to being on a bus for 45 minutes with no technology in their hand. All right. So they are going to learn some self-control or they're not going to be able to be here. All right. So that's the poop, right? And it counts for my staff too. If my staff are acting like idiots, they're not going to be at camp either. Code of conduct, foul language, right? Physical harm, bullying, teasing, right? We are not a religious camp, but we may as well be in regard to how we treat how the expectations of behavior and the character preaching and integrity and all these kind of things. All right. So we're not going to let kids be mean. Not going to happen. And if a kid's really mean and they start saying racist stuff and stuff like that, they're going to be suspended immediately. Okay. Because they need to learn that they can't do that kind of thing. We are a very, very diverse camp. Okay. And the good thing about diversity is that, wow, we're one big rainbow family. It's wonderful. The kids are learning all this stuff, right, about other people. The bad thing about it is that kids are dumb and they say stupid things. And we have to nip that in the bud. And if it's innocent, that's one thing. But if it's actually nasty because the kid saw it on TikTok and he knows he's going to, he thinks he's going to get some social capital for being a jerk. Well, we got to really, that kid will be suspended for that kind of behavior. We're not going to have that here, right? We need people feeling safe emotionally and physically at Liberty Lake. Not allowed at camp. No cell phones, no smartwatches, no video games, no cameras, no weapons of any kind. No, hey, I have wilderness skills elective, so I brought my pocket knife. No, thank you. Okay. Of course, no drugs and alcohol. And, kids mess up. Okay. They say the bad word and all that kind of thing. We don't kick kids out of camp for that. We talk to them, right? We try to redirect them. Okay. It keeps happening. We're going to call you, we're going to bring in the behavioral support team. All right. And then once we try everything we can, that's when, kids will get suspended or they get kicked out of camp. And parents like that, by the way. They like that the inmates are not running the asylum here, that they're paying good money, that kids should have a good time, right? And not be infringed on other kids. This is the back page of the parent resource guide, which is in the mail or in your mailbox or on your counter right now. This page has all of the contact info for all the important people at camp. Excuse me. If you look at the top, it's got the main number. It's got a direct number to the health center. So if the nurse calls you, call that number back and it'll go right to the nurse, not to the office that has a transfer to the nurse who's treating a kid and not seeing the phone ring, right? That kind of thing. In the summer, email office@libertylakedaycamp.com. Don't email Andy at libertylake.daycamp.com unless you're okay with me answering you 12 hours later. Because I'm outside. I'm managing things. I'm playing with the kids. I am being Mickey Mouse. I'm not sitting at my desk. I am not the camp director sitting at my desk. And the division leaders aren't either. The division leaders are paid to be outside also, right? So they come in, they check their emails in the morning. Before camp starts, they check it once like mid-morning, once mid-afternoon, and then after camp. They're not sitting at desks either. All right. So office is where it's at if you need immediate response. Because if you do need to talk to a division leader, it's really important. The office will page them on the walkie-talkie. They'll come to the office and they'll call you. Okay. But there's everybody's email in there. And there's the division leaders' names for each division. There's the key dates. Okay. You'll see this when you get it in the mail. And like I said, when you go to our website, we have this page called Quick Links. And I'm going to get you there. Okay. You go to libertylake.daycamp.com. Now you're a returning family. So you click returning family. See the yellow arrow at the top. And then it pulls up this page and Quick Links is right there. Quick Links is also at the very top too. All right. And once you click Quick Links, it'll take you, well, Quick Links will take you to the things that all the link pages. But this is the CampMinder thing here. I shouldn't have put this screen next, but I did. So this is going into CampMinder. And you see there's a form and documents section. That's where you choose your electives. Okay. And then there's the financial management. So don't email me and say, Andy, can you send me a receipt from last year or something? Because all you need to do is go to financial management and print one out because you have access to it. Okay. It's got our tax ID on it and everything. And remember, guys, summer camp, day camp, not sleepaway camp, day camp is deductible from your taxes for childcare. This is the forms and documents section. So you see, this is a young man, Benjamin's form, and he has not done his top 10 electives yet when I made this, but he did do his camper photo. I appreciate that. And he did do his health history. Thank you. All the health histories need to be in. It's the law. This is that companion app. You can download it from the Apple Store or Google Store, or whatever the heck it is. And you take a couple pictures and upload them of your kid. And they'll send you notifications every time our amazing media team takes a beautiful picture of them. This is the Quick Links page. All right. So when you click on Quick Links, it takes you to this page. You see important resources at the top. You click on that and it opens up. Okay, like an accordion. And there's a spirit calendar, the elective sheet, the bus times, which are coming. Okay, new bus times were just days away from having the actual bus times. Parent resource guide, the Liberty Lectionary, both of those things we mailed all the new families. The lunch menu, the ingredients list is updated constantly. Okay, so if we get a new shipment and it's not the same macaroni and cheese we got last time, we're putting it in there so you know what the macaroni and cheese is. Okay, the camp store. Bunk line for shirts and swag and things. Don't worry about the health screening form. We're not doing that anymore. That's pandemic stuff. A whole lot of miscellaneous things, including the Liberty Lake song lyrics, in case you want to sing it too. So there's Quick Links. That's what the parent resource guide looks like on the left. That's what the Lectionary looks like. Those are coming in the mail to you. What to bring to camp? First day, okay. If you don't come to the meet and greet, and don't get the backpack, then on the first day, pack your kids' stuff in a little drawstring and we'll put it in their backpack to bring home. Okay. Backpack, as I mentioned, towel, sunscreen, windbreaker. If you're a turtle, extra close. Okay. They'll keep that at camp. Water bottle. We have water bottle filling stations throughout the camp. Okay. So water bottle is good. Make sure their name is on it. Name should be on everything. They got this amazing $50 Yankees hat. Put their name in it with a Sharpie. I don't care. They're never going to lose it, and we're not going to know it's theirs. Okay. Unnecessary. Water shoes. You don't need them. Okay. They're walking on concrete. It'll be fine. That falls into the category. The more they bring, the more they lose. Okay. Goggles. If your kid doesn't really need goggles to swim, don't pack goggles. As a matter of fact, when you take the deep water test, you're not allowed to use goggles. That's a Red Cross thing. Okay. So you need to learn how to swim without goggles. Don't bring nice stuff. Don't bring accessories. Don't bring pocketbooks. Don't bring sunglasses. Don't bring bare bones it. Okay. Wear sneakers and socks, shorts and t-shirts, right? I told you the boys' shorts are the bathing suit. Girls' bathing suit is their underwear. Kids don't really change at Liberty Lake because they keep their bathing suits on all day. All right. If you have a kid that gets rashes or something and you need them to change out of their bathing suit, that's fine. Pack another bathing suit. We'll make sure it happens. Let the division leader know. Okay. But if they can manage, then again, less is more here. Keep money home, except for when we have a fundraiser for Liberty Lake Foundation celebration. We have a foundation that sends underprivileged kids who could not normally afford camp to camp, and not just for Liberty Lake, but to camps all over South Jersey. And we have this thing called the Snack Shack, where kids can buy Gatorades or bottled water, even though our regular water is filtered and good, and juices. But that's it. Um, and like I said, if they're wearing Crocs, pack sneakers. Miscellaneous liquid sunshine. Okay, so like I've been telling you, it's not raining until I say it is. So they need to pack a windbreaker. We do not change the schedule unless it's really coming down or it's thundering. Besides that, we're going swimming. We're doing everything. We're jumping in puddles. We're having a great day. Okay, so yeah, pack some kind of waterproof-ish, lightweight jacket. Okay, and then hot weather. Well, we might just end up canceling some hot things, like field sports and basketball and stuff like that, and go swimming more and turn on the irrigation system and making it rain on the blacktop with our irrigation system. Yeah, if you send your kid to camp and it's 95 degrees or hotter, your kid's going to come home like a prune because they're going to be wet all day. It's how we keep them cool. Excuse me. Picture day, third week of camp, we have a picture day with professional photographers. We'll send you a reminder to wear their nice 25th anniversary t-shirt that they'll get in their camp bag. Bug spray. Yeah. Sunscreen. Yeah. They're outside. Guess what? They make sunscreen with bug spray. How about that? They didn't have that when I was a kid. So use that. Baseball caps. Yeah. Hats, bucket hats. Yeah. We're outside. Where's nature? Is there ticks? Is there lice? Yes, it's all that. It's called life. It's outside and there's kids. Okay. So baseball cap is a great thing. Okay. They shouldn't get sunburn in the face. It's not good. Right. Um, I always wear a baseball cap every day. Look at Andy's head. You're not going to see it all summer. Okay. Because I have a baseball cap on. Poison ivy lice. Like these things happen. Right. Um, and we have a good health center that will help with everything. And label everything. Grazia. So for those of you who have never done camp before as a kid or a parent, it's an intriguing thing, this summer camp thing. They historically let you tip the counselors, right, at the end. So that's a thing. Now, our group leaders, our adult staff over 18, they actually make pretty good money. It's the high school kids. They really need the tips. They don't make a lot of money, like the bus counselors and stuff like that, and the third wheels, and these are the kids, these are the young staff that the kids generally really like. So we went to this during the pandemic when we wanted to be touch-free and all. It's basically Venmo for camp staff. And you download this app, Grazi. It has a little picture of all the staff in it. So you go, oh, there's my swim instructor. Oh, there's the basketball guy. Oh, there's my counselor. There's the guy on the bus, right? And you can give him $10, $20, whatever. It's a thing, right? People do it. The counselor's really appreciative. We do not hire them and tell them they're going to get tips, for the record. We tell them that parents can, but we also say, don't expect it. And we say to parents, you don't have to tip. You can write a card, right? You could send a note. You're going to be really surprised how much these staff know and love your kids. They're going to send a note to you the last week of camp. It's called the last week of camp card. And they're going to tell you all about your kid and what they've been doing and how much they love your kid. And it's a card for your kids, not for you, but you'll read it. Yeah. So if you want to, there it is. We'll remind you about it in the summer. What else? So the meet and greet is 6/16. Come and meet the kids' counselors with the kids, bring the kids. Okay. That is June 16th. That's Tuesday, anytime between 6:30 and 8. We have a training before that. So not come before 6:30, please, because we're doing a training. The optional swim test thing I was telling you about, you see, it is 6/13. I'm not crazy. 6/13 is 6/20. June 13th, June 20th, from 10 to 12 in the morning. I sent you a thing, a sign up thing, and it's all ages, all ages. Last year we did it from pre-K to fourth and included. Anybody can come if they really want, but it really is for swim lessons. Yeah, and inclusion kids of all ages. Family night, August 5th. Even if your kid is not in camp that night, you're invited. And bring your sneakers, parents, because the zip line is open only for parents. Okay. It's a good night. big blowout barbecue. We do the camp musical that night. We give out the 5-year, 10-year, 15-year, 20-year, 25-year plaques and things to the kids, which is cool. We have wilderness overnights if you take the wilderness skills elective. Look on the Spirit calendar for the dates of that. Top 10 electives, do them now. The parent resource guide, it's coming in the mail to you, new folks. Bus routes, bus times, hopefully next week. Back page of the parent guide for the contacts. Re-enrollment starts August 11th. That's the last week of camp. Or that's week 8 of camp. We start it early to get you while you're hot, but also because we open it up to just camp families first to give you the first shot. Because if you don't sign up early, it's hard to get your requests, like you want to be with certain kids and that kind of thing and stay in the same groups. We cannot guarantee that after we open up the floodgates for the public and they start signing up after Labor Day. All right. Online health histories, if you haven't done it yet, Lord knows, do it. And, before we leave, I just want to say, again, mad respect for you. Okay. We are living in crazy times right now. The robots are coming for us. Okay. The only jobs your kids are going to have when they grow up are jobs that robots can't do. They're jobs of being human, connection, collaboration, creativity, right? Robots just process and give like information that's been done. They can't work with other robots. You know, um, camp is the best place for your kid to be right now to learn the skills that they're going to need for the 21st century. And I know that it is expensive out there. Everything is expensive. And you dedicating funds for this for your kid, you're awesome. You're awesome for doing it, right? And I just hope, I have confidence that you're going to really appreciate what your kids are going through here and really dig it and know that this was money well spent, right? This is sort of priceless in many ways, and this is way better than going to Disney, right? Mickey Mouse at Liberty Lake beats real Mickey Mouse any day. So that's my info. You guys can always get me. Andy at libertylakedaycamp.com is the easiest way to get me. Calling me and getting me on the phone is like, it's like winning the lottery, okay? I'm very, very busy, especially this time of year and especially during the camp season. So email me and I will get back to you. And thanks again, everybody. I hope to see you at the meet and greet or at family night. And if you haven't met me, please come up and introduce yourself. I like meeting all of the families, okay? Because remember, one day your kid might be sending their kid to Liberty Lake. I like knowing the family. All right, take care. Thanks, everybody. Bye bye.